Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SoCal Warhammer, where we drink and play Warhammer, basically.
And talk about it.
And today we're talking about a very special game that we got to play at the Games Workshop Battle Bunker in Westminster. It was an apocalypse-style game. How many points would you say it was?
I think it was designed to be something like 30,000 points aside. Ended up dropping down to probably 25,000 points aside.
Cowards.
A couple people didn't show up for, I don't know why.
Anyway, it was the style of Imperials versus what was supposed to be Chaos turned into everyone else. So we have a whole hodgepodge of Eldar, Dark Eldar, Necrons, essentially everyone that wants the Emperor dead.
Everyone but Chaos, ironically.
Yeah, ironically,
the initial
everyone
setup
but
was...
Chaos showed up. The only way to start an apocalypse game is to see who is the drunkest and who is the loudest.
Seeing as it was 10 a.m., well, we could have been the drunkest.
Yeah,
but
we
really
couldn't. Yeah, but we couldn't participate, sadly. So we had to go with the loudest. And here's what happened.
Shout your praises to the God Emperor.
Who's this?
We're doing a walk.
We're doing a walk.
For the Emperor! Boo! I've heard better. And Eldar? Wow. Shout whatever heretical things you people shout before your race fell.
Wrong language.
I don't know what that is.
Neither do I.
Come on, dude, for the bloody hand of...
Kill the monk. Kill the monk. Kill the monk.
Where are we going?
1100111100. Okay.
Is that a Necron joke?
For the fallen!
I like it.
Heresy.
So if you didn't notice from that, I was dressed rather goofy. What began as a joke with the manager at the bunker, Yvonne, when she first asked us if we'd film this.
Please stop taking our jokes seriously. We don't mean them in any sense.
When I say something, I'm not being serious. But when they first mentioned, can we do this, I jokingly said, hey, because it was Will was filming, and I was basically asked to be, profanity watcher, just keep people on track, rules, disputes, that sort of stuff. I'm like, if I get a commissar costume for this, and I managed to get it all together and wear it, can I, as well as a Nerf gun, and shoot people that are just being stupid, just arguing over dumb things? It's like, yeah, of course, do it. Next day on Facebook, and to all the LA bunker people, there's a post, join this big game, and this guy is going to be dressed as a commissar. The pressure was on.
We really need to stop drinking before we go out in public. It's really not helping us out.
I need to think before I speak. To agreeing on dropping. I need to think before I think about that dropping $150 on a joke costume is acceptable.
It was pretty cool though.
So the table was set up kind of. The only way I know how to describe the shape is the Tetris shape. It was kind of one table, and then two tables in a large square, and then one more off to the side.
Like any apocalypse game, it's what tables are available. Slap those together. We got us a board.
The basic objective of the game was the forces of order, or Imperium and whatever Eldar that we had to add to them to make up points because people didn't show, had one big thing called Kieran's Acropolis. And the objective of the game ultimately was that the forces of Chaos need to destroy this, and it would be worth 10 victory points. If the Imperium players managed to keep it alive at the end of the game, it's worth 6 victory points. And then there were several other secondary objectives on the table as well. A couple of guys on their team brought Forge World stuff because they were told they could.
Yeah.
Which sort of became a point of contention, at the beginning of the game. One of the guys, the demon player, there was a demon player with 3,000 points.
Corn.
Yeah. Blood crushers everywhere. He had the Forge World giant bloodthirster, the Angrath the Unbound.
It's pretty BA.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. And to boot, they made it their army general.
Made it their warlord.
Yeah.
Well, even further to boot, it was right then, because he didn't have a base for it, about 10 minutes before the game, he ran to the cash register, bought those craters for terrain, and glued the model to a crater for a movement tray, or for a base.
That's dedication right there.
And this guy just dropped $25 on these just now for a base for this. It's like $400 on the model. I'm not going to tell this guy he can't bring it.
Yeah, you can bring it.
and you guys can kill it. You have 25,000 points of guns. So, Chaos. there was actually no chaos on the team, but the demons went first. Pretty much loaded all their 20 Ravagers and all their Dark Eldar vehicles. Oh, they had
including
the Tantalus.
the Tantalus.
I think it's called the Tantalus.
It might be. It's like this huge Dark Eldar Raider.
It's basically the double Raiders glued together.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just a Super Raider. I don't think it's really all that impressive. It's still got like maybe one gun. And
it
carries,
looked cool.
It looks really cool.
It looked like Jabba the Hutt's thing,
which they all do. That was
but
kind of the idea.
Yeah, but this was like Jabba.
This was big.
You expected like a fat Dark Eldar homunculus, like bring me the Wookiee.
Bring me Kalgar and the Wookiee.
Well, the big thing was first turn one. That giant bloodthirster hopped 24 inches, pretty much right in front of the fortress, and was like, "Oh crap! It's already here." Charged a group of Terminators, and props to this guy for doing that. Challenged. It's a character with a sergeant. And then after killing the one Terminator sergeant, everything unloaded on the guy. He still had his 5-up interval from being a demon, but just took so much fire that he died.
Yeah, I don't really like that challenge system. I feel like it should be FAQ'd that you can challenge something that's of the same unit type. It makes monstrous creatures less useful, which is I don't really like, because I like monstrous creatures. I like being able to throw that big thing into the mix and just having it go boom,
Just being Sauron and
basically just
every which
Sauron
way.
with the
So they kill the giant bloodthirster. Everyone's happy. Yay! Kind of like I told you guys, it's not that bad. More and more shooting. That was pretty much turn one. It was kind of the.
There was actually one very important thing you forgot.
Right. One of the Necron players
brought Imhotep the Stormlord, which, for those of you who don't know, has a special ability that automatically makes it night fight and pretty much keeps it going the rest of the game if he wants to.
Unless you want to turn it off.
The big thing was that the demon died.
Yeah, the demon
basically
died.
due to focus firing and being the only thing that they could see with night fight.
Yeah, it walked into range and nothing else really got into range, so it was... Yeah. Well, that's a 3-foot-tall model. Shoot it.
Yeah, basically. It's like, that looks bad!
Kill it! Kill it with fire! So turn 2 was more or less the same of turn 1. The guy with Imhotep kept night fighting on. He was kind of off in a corner, and I don't think he quite like the two Necron guys basically were on their own 6x4 table, squaring off against some Space Wolves and just Codex Space Marines. They were kind of fighting. They were more or less holding down that orbital bombardment objective,
which really didn't do much the entire game.
No,
like
I feel bad for that guy. He was a great guy.
The guy.
I feel bad. I'm also blanking on his name, but he had a great.
I dub thee Jim.
We're gonna call him Necron Jim.
Necron Jim.
Maybe it was.
Nope, Necron Jim.
Necron Jim.
Necron Jim.
He had a great his plan
attitude.
was he had a bunch of scarab swarms, and he's like, okay, he's gonna use the scarab swarms to just eat away the armor of the bastion real fast, just boost him up there. He had like 30 bases of scarab swarms. It was kind of scary. And he was just going to basically eat the bastion to death and kill it in like a turn or two.
I would not like that with my Grey Knights.
No, that would have won him the game easily, I think.
That actually really would have, because he just had the volume.
He had the volume
bring him down.
That if enough other stuff moved up as well to also take some hits,
right,
they could have easily killed that bastion.
Even then, if he was at the forefront, they would have to pick their evil. They would have to choose which evil they wanted to deal with at that point. Do you want to deal with the scarab swarms that are going to basically tear it down?
Or do you want to deal with all the tanks that are going to laser it? Or do you want to do
the tanks that can laser it?
And the demon. The giant demon.
And the demon. So, really, I think Team Evil's biggest flaw was that they just weren't that organized.
That bombardment, I think, all in all, killed like 2 Terminators and attacked them.
It wasn't that... I don't know, it was one of those things where I'm just so used to having like a Space Marine bombardment come down and just be like a game changer at turn 1. And it's all like, oh god, everything I've planned is gone.
But when you've got something so much on the table, that kind of ceases to become... One template isn't quite that big of a deal.
It's one of those things when you look at it at that point, it's the things that are scarier in like one-on-one matches, it's just the volume takes all that away.
It switches that mentality of the game to a bit to kind of quantity over quality in some ways.
No, it does in every sense. But it's at the same point when it's at such high point costs that the quantity brings the quality.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, so you get to tool everything.
You can
up.
tool everything.
So,
It's like,
I mean,
I've got 30 missile launchers.
yeah,
Go ahead.
It's
you know?
not like the usual strategy of I'm just going to sacrifice a lot of points from upgrades to have like a few more extra squads. It's no, here is the 10-man squad, and they have the rocket launcher, they have the Melta, they have the Power Fist.
The plasma pistol, the Melta
plasma
bombs,
pistol, the
everything.
Melta bombs. Just,
I'll take a teleport home.
yeah,
Why not?
It's like, why not? Maybe that one squad I have will happen to be in the area. It really just shows everything that they can bring to bear, and at the same time, it also shows you how quickly it can get taken
It's
away.
still, there it goes. Well, whatever. I've got 5 more squads where that one came from.
In the end, everything in an apocalypse game is just cannon fodder.
Everything dies.
Everything dies. So basically, Imperial Guard players, it's nothing new to you.
No, they still die. I mean, there was so much going on that I was watching, I couldn't quite watch the entire game.
Mm.
I don't know how much they actually shot at the Bastion.
They really didn't. It was actually kind of, like I said, their main enemy was disorganization. They
all moved forward, and then they peeled off.
Right. They kind of laid into whoever they were fighting against. And I mean, a lot of people, like the Grey Knight guy, took a pounding.
Yeah.
Like, most of his stuff was gone by the end of
The
turn
demon
2.
guy was pretty much playing, I think it was like basically mono Khorne, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Exclusively Khorne.
Yeah, no, and he was one of the team captains. He had 3,000 points of demons.
Mm.
And he basically had as many blood crushers as you could bring, as many blood blitters as I think you would need for the army. So like I think he had his minimum 2 troops or something like that.
I think he had more than that.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't notice a ton.
It
And
was-
then he had as many demon princes as he could cram in
Well,
there.
he had, like, the bloodletters kind of strategic. The blood crushers were, like,
We're just a wall of
his
juggernauts.
ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going this way.
And those just, like you said, everyone sort of picked off based against their directly opposite opponent.
Yeah, and so
And it happened to be the Grey Knights were scoring off against the demons, and it was just 1,500 points of juggernauts of Khorne rolling into some paladins. And I think both sides, the demon guy took a lot of hits.
They both did. It was actually kind of one of those like straight slugfests where it was just everybody was dying on both sides, as is fairly typical in Apocalypse.
Fairly typical.
Yeah,
In a lot of games.
Yeah, in a lot of games.
You just kind of have two sides butting. And
But I mean, the problem with that was that it wasn't about killing. It really, really wasn't. It was about objectives, which I think the team kind of lost sight of. Everyone was so just focused on
just
laying,
kill, play Apocalypse.
Kill, Apocalypse, boom, boom, boom. I mean, by the end, it's just what objectives are left on the table. And as we cover in turn 3...
Not many.
Yeah. It was... Yeah. Oh, damn, what is there? Yeah.
Turn 3, the night fighting stayed on. It was Chaos Team because they went first. Pretty much, they knew last turn at this point. And this is when they finally threw everything they had at that Bastion.
Yeah, it took them long enough.
Except for the Demon player again. He had 2 Demon Princes that could have charged the Bastion, and I think at the last minute decided one of them was going to charge like the Basilisk next to it, and the other one was going to try and kill a couple of tactical squads that were standing in front.
To his credit, that's probably what demons would do.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. No, to his credit, that's what demons would
It's
do.
like, you know what? It didn't go after the objective, but the Chaos Gods were proud. Khorne especially. He was like, bravo.
Skulls for the
Skulls
Skull
for the Skull
Okay.
Throne.
It was all the tanks were firing, every Darklands, Hammerhead, whatever was still standing was going. There were some witches, some Dark Eldar witches hopped out of a raider, tried to make the charge, and I think they were just going to try and haywire grenade the building to death. Which could have definitely done something.
Oh, yeah, it definitely could have, but it didn't.
I think it was a little too late. Turn 1 they tried as much as they could.
Turn 1 they tried
Turn
as
2
much
they
as
kind of forgot about it, I think.
Turn 2 was sort of the slaughterfest.
At a glance, the way I was watching it on the final turn, I thought Imperium had it in the bag. Like, they've got this objective, they've got their thing still alive, and if it doesn't die, they're pretty much sitting pretty.
Chaos ended up with 9 points.
That's
Imperial ended up with 10 points.
That's right.
They won by a single point.
Yeah, so it came down to Imperium basically only held the Bastion was still alive for 6 points. I think they held one other thing somewhere in a corner. It was just a random objective that was sitting sort of in their deployment zone. And that was the one that the bikes drove off and then they grabbed again. So they had 9 points. Chaos had 9 from the other 3 secondary they had. Would have been a tie. And then because the Loyalists got Slay the Warlord, which was Angrath.
The Unbound.
Yeah, the giant bloodthirster from turn 1.
That's right. The Xenos team didn't kill their warlord,
No,
did they?
Because the Imperium chose
Drago!
the idea. I think the initial idea was sort of they wanted to have this very cinematic duel of warlords between Drago and the giant ass Bloodthirster.
Drago doesn't die, kids.
Drago didn't make it. The Bloodthirster died before Drago could get to it.
Did Drago even make it onto the table?
Drago was in his Land Raider the whole time. Yeah.
Okay, so
No,
Drago
it was initially they were paired up quite close, and the Bloodthirsters went, "Nope, I'm going for these Terminators over here." And Drago tried to catch up to him before he died. And then Drago, I think his Land Raider got blown up, and he and his Paladins were just messing up demons. They were kind of just holding off a quarter of the table from things.
Alright, fair enough. Well, anyway, it didn't die.
Yeah, in a way it didn't die, but game ended up going to Imperium victory by 1 point just for killing. Came down to just basically killing that Bloodthirster.
And they didn't want that Bloodthirster.
And they were complaining about it being there. 2 quick shout-outs real quick. If you are in the SoCal area, either go check out the bunker if you don't go there. Great store, great staff that works there. They're awesome. And if you're also, this is a little more distinct, if you're in the Fullerton, Brea, that sort of area, go to the Games Workshop Fullerton store. That is an awesome store. That's where I usually go. The manager there is fantastic. Doesn't push stuff. Very mellow. Good atmosphere. Good people that play there. But that was our battle report. It was fun to do. Hope you had fun watching it, and hope we get a new one up soon.